We often think of winning as something external, a prize, a title, applause, a finish line. But real winning doesn't start out there. It starts in here. It begins long before anyone sees the result. It begins the moment we decide that failure won't have the final word. It begins when we choose to keep moving, even when there's no cheering crowd, no scoreboard, and no guarantees. Saying, "I'm going to win," isn't about arrogance. It's about alignment. It's about knowing who you are, what you believe in, and what you're willing to fight for. Winning isn't about beating others. It's about becoming the strongest version of yourself in the face of pressure, doubt, and difficulty. It's not about proving them wrong. It's about proving yourself right. Real winners don't chase victory. They build it step by step with discipline, clarity, and intention. They know that success isn't a single moment. It's a series of hard choices, small wins, and quiet sacrifices. They win because they're clear on why they're running in the first place. And when the why is strong, the how always follows. So when you say, "I'm going to win," you're not making a statement about your competition. You're making a promise to yourself. A promise to keep showing up. A promise to lead with heart. A promise to keep going not because it's easy, but because it matters. When most people think of winning, they think of results. Medals, promotions, applause, or being recognized as the best. But winning at its deepest level doesn't begin with outcomes. It begins with identity. Before you ever cross the finish line, you must first decide who you are and what you believe in. The strongest victories are born from self-awareness, not ambition. Because when your actions are grounded in your identity, every step forward becomes more than movement, it becomes meaningful progress. You see, if you build your life around outcomes alone, you'll constantly be chasing validation. But when you build your life around identity, when you act in alignment with your values and vision, your direction becomes clearer and your path becomes your own. Winning, then, is no longer just about beating someone else. It's about becoming someone you're proud of. That mindset allows you to face adversity with steadiness, because your success isn't dependent on circumstances. It's anchored in who you are and who you're becoming. The moment you say, "I'm going to win," it shouldn't be about superiority. It should be about authenticity. It's not about being louder than the crowd or faster than your peers. It's about being true to your purpose. Real power comes when your identity is so rooted, so intentional, that no failure can shake it. And when you show up from that place, every challenge becomes a stage for growth, not just a test of performance. That's when winning starts to mean something more than a moment. It becomes a way of living. It's easy to get swept up in the excitement of starting something new. The hype is loud, energizing, and often addictive. But hype fades, the cheering quiets, the novelty wears off. And when that happens, what are you left with? Discipline. The quiet, steady work that no one sees. The daily choices that build something lasting. True victory isn't built on bursts of motivation. It's built on the uncomfortable consistency of showing up, especially when it's not exciting, especially when no one's watching, especially when it's just you and the decision to keep going. Discipline is where greatness grows. It's the repeated action of aligning your habits with your purpose. While hype may light a spark, discipline keeps the fire burning. And that fire doesn't need attention to stay alive. It needs commitment. Winners aren't those who had the loudest beginnings, but those who learned how to sustain effort in silence. They train when they're tired. They practice patience when they want quick results. They follow through on promises they made to themselves long after the mood they made them in has passed. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you're casting a vote for your future. You're telling yourself, "I take this seriously," not because the world is watching, but because you are. It's not about being perfect, it's about being committed. It's about replacing hype with habits, and emotion with intention. Because in the end, it's not the loudest or the fastest who win. It's the ones who keep moving forward when the noise is gone, and only the purpose remains. We live in a world that constantly encourages comparison. Social media feeds us curated snapshots of other people's lives, accomplishments, and milestones, And before we know it, we start measuring our worth against someone else's highlight reel. But the truth is, the only meaningful competition you have is with the person you were yesterday, not the influencer with the six-figure launch, not the colleague who got the promotion, just you. Because growth isn't about winning against others, it's about rising beyond who you were before. When you focus on self-comparison, you create a healthier and more sustainable drive. You begin to recognize progress in your own terms. The courage you showed today that you didn't have last week. The moment you stayed calm instead of reacting. The effort you made even when no one gave you credit. These wins are quiet, but they're powerful, and over time they compound into something extraordinary. Competing with yourself means embracing patience. It means knowing you won't become your best self overnight, but you will, with intention, get closer every single day. Chasing someone else's version of success often leads to frustration and burnout, but chasing your own growth leads to fulfillment, because you're no longer running someone else's race. You're running your own. You're no longer distracted by what others are doing. You're focused on what you're becoming. And when you commit to being just a little better today than you were yesterday, you give yourself the greatest advantage of all: consistent, purpose-driven growth. That's the kind of progress that builds true confidence. Not because you've outdone others, but because you've outgrown your old self. Saying, "I'm going to win," is not a reflection of your current circumstances. It's a decision to think differently about what's ahead. It's not a victory chant after a battle is over, but a mindset you carry into the fight. When you declare those words, you're not stating a fact. You're claiming a future. You're training your mind to believe that progress is possible, even when the path isn't clear. That mindset shift doesn't require proof. It requires belief. And belief, when rooted in purpose, becomes one of the most powerful forces you have. This declaration isn't about ignoring your struggles. It's about choosing how you respond to them. It's not blind optimism. It's bold commitment. It's you choosing to see yourself not as a victim of pressure, failure, or fear, but as someone who is learning, growing, and rising through it. When you say, "I'm going to win," you're telling your fear it doesn't get the final say. You're reminding yourself that setbacks are setups, that detours are still part of the road, that the outcome may be uncertain, but your resolve isn't. Most people wait to say those words until after they've succeeded, but real leaders, real winners, say it at the beginning, in the middle, in the mess. It's a mindset that shifts your posture, your attitude, and your resilience. It realigns your actions with a deeper reason for pushing forward. Because when you operate from the belief that you're already becoming who you're meant to be, you stop waiting for permission. You start moving with purpose. And that internal shift changes everything, even when nothing around you has changed yet. So when you say, "I'm going to win," don't say it because you guaranteed an easy path. Say it because you've already made a decision, a commitment to show up, grow up, and lead from within. Winning isn't a moment, it's a mindset. It's a daily choice to be better, to go deeper, and to live louder through your purpose. You don't need to be the fastest, the loudest, or the most impressive. You just need to be the most consistent version of yourself, rooted, clear, intentional. Because the real win is not out there waiting for you. It's already happening in every quiet step you take toward becoming who you were always meant to be. So hold your head high, keep moving forward, and say it again, not for the world, but for yourself. I'm going to win.